My name is Dr. Wanjiru Kamau-Rutenberg, and I have the honor of serving as Director of Award, African Women in Agricultural Research and Development. I also am humbled to be a member of the Malabo Montpellier panel. For over a decade, the award program has really been working to fix issues of gender inequality in Africa's agricultural research landscape. We started off with the flagship award fellowships, which are focused on addressing the leaking pipeline of women's leadership in agricultural research by making sure that African women researchers have the networks, the leadership skills, and the technical scientific skills needed to drive the research agenda for the continent, to be available to lead the agricultural research sector. We also have been working with African research institutions to make sure that these research institutions are the kinds of places that are able to meet their mandates, their research mandates, by producing gender-relevant, gender-responsive, contextually relevant agricultural research. It's so important to recognize that while women are overrepresented perhaps in agricultural production on the continent, we still have massive gaps when it comes to further up the agricultural value chains and also further down the agricultural value chains. So when I talk about further up, I think it's so important to include and recognize the role of women in agricultural research. We know that agricultural value chains begin with research, and yet there the data has consistently shown us that women are underrepresented at the tables where priorities are set and resources allocated for agricultural research on the continent. And so there's real need to do work there in terms of increasing women's presence and representation. When it comes to production, we know that women are not making the money that is commensurate with the amount of labor that they're putting into agricultural production on the continent. And so we know there's work to be done there. And then finally, on down into processing, we know that women and women's businesses are underrepresented in agricultural processing. Yet when it comes to consumption, we know that it tends to be, because of the gender roles in our society, it tends to be women that make decisions around what is fed, what is put on tables across a continent. And so really, as a continent, we've got this challenge of making sure that women are 50% of who is in decision making, and that women are getting paid adequately for the labor that they're putting in. Key areas that policy interventions really could make a difference. One is around making sure that women get paid equally for equal work. We know that there's the gender wage gap in the agricultural sector and all across the agricultural sector, again, right from research on down to production, processing, and marketing. And so making sure that women have access to whether it's addressing barriers such as access to capital so that women can start, grow, and scale up their production, their processing plants. Whether it's having access to resources, especially around advisory in how to grow their businesses, how to improve their production. I think these are all policy opportunities that would really improve women's the way that African women fare in the agricultural sector. Of course, when it comes to research, it's things like making sure that there are policies, each research institution has a gender policy, has a gender equality policy that ensures that our research institutions are places where women don't just survive, but where female researchers thrive, grow, and bring their very best knowledge and expertise to the table in terms of solving the food security challenges that this continent is facing. Systems Summit coming along this year, there are a series of dialogues, whether it is national dialogues or sector dialogues, regional dialogues, and also independently organized dialogues. And I think it's going to be so important for women to participate in these dialogues and make sure that women's issues are featured and really feed into the learnings and the proposals and recommendations that are fed into the dialogue, the eventual dialogue documents, Food Systems Summit documents. The Malabo-Montpellier panel represents a tremendous opportunity for policymakers to engage with leading experts across different sectors from across the continent and beyond. The opportunity to engage with the in-depth research, the publications that the panel puts out on a regular basis, whether it's around issues around trade, regional trade, whether it's around livestock value chains, whether it's around nutrition. The Malabo-Montpellier panel very regularly puts out in-depth reports that are written with policymakers in mind. I also think that the Malabo-Montpellier forum that are run by the panel are also important opportunities for policymakers to really engage with experts on the policy issues of the day. And really, we know that with concerted policy efforts, we really as a continent can address the food security challenges that we face and make sure that none of our children are waking up hungry.